Regarding rheumatoid arthritis, you know, it's basically a disorder of autoimmune nature. It's characterized by chronic inflammatory polyarthritis of unknown etiology. Inflammatory threats also involve the skin, eyes, lungs, blood vessels. Is undergoing a fluctuating course and unpredictable prognosis associated with 60% risk in the cardiovascular death rates. It's complex and multifactorial pathogenesis. Now, what about pathophysiology? The activation of macrophage by the antigen presenting cells and T cells released to the pro-inflammatory cytokines. These pro-inflammatory cytokines are so many, but namely tumor necrosis factor 1, interleukin 1 to 6 to 12 also. These interleukins or pro-inflammatory cytokines basically stimulates, not directly like this, no? Basically stimulates the production of, they goes to the cells and have some action on the nuclear activities of the cells that produces the inflammatory so many proteases that leads to breakdown of collagen, that is leading to extracellular matrix, and release of MMP, that is matrix medullary proteases, that produces the cartilage degradation. So now in osteoarthritis, the same thing happens. These pro-inflammatory cytokines leads to development of these proteases, including cyclooxygenase, lipoxygenase, that all leads to destruction of the cartilage. Now, basically, both these two factors, that is tumor necrosis factor alpha and interleukins, are major inflammatory cytokines involved in RA as well as in OA. And this release of these inflammatory cytokines is regulated by nuclear factor kappa B, that is normally present in the cells. This is the transcription factor. Transcription factors means, you know, from DNA to RNA, and this RNA produces the amino acids. The DNA to RNA is called transcription and RNA to amino acids is called translocation. And this helps an important essential role in inflammatory and immune responses. Now, it's the same. Disorders due to activation is rheumatoid, osteoarthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, psoriatic arthritis, juvenile rheumatoid. Now, this is the master switch for inflammation, this nuclear factor kappa B. What happens with nuclear factor kappa B activation? This inflammatory, pro-inflammatory cytokines, that is tumor necrosis factor, interleukins, they inhibit the active inflammatory B kinase that leads to activation of nuclear factor kappa B. Now, this reaches the nucleus, translocation, that is production of so many amino acids from your RNA. Here, this causes activation of the gene encoding the inflammatory mediators. That releases the inflammatory mediators, mostly inducible enzymes like cyclooxygenase, inducible nitric oxide synthesis, proteaginase, and collagenase, etc. That leads to in synovial membrane inflammation, proliferation, that is hyperplasia, and hypertrophy, with vascular invasion, that is pannus formation. In the chondrocytes, this increases the activity of COX-2 and MMPs that leads to cartilage destruction. And in bone, it produces osteoclastogenesis and bone erosion. So nuclear factor kappa B is a crucial role in inflammatory and immune responses to the regulation of genes encoding the pro-inflammatory cytokines and inducible enzymes. Now, in an innovative option for the management of arthritis, this nuclear factor kappa B inhibitor is curcumin. Curcumin is nothing but an active ingredient of turmeric powder, a very common ingredient in our day-to-day food. Practically over centuries, this curcumin has been utilized or used as a traditional medicine in Ayurvedic, in Chinese medicines, and in Thai medicines. Almost, it has been 53 different names has been described, has been found in Ayurvedic medicines, and where each name is applied for a particular action. That is, somewhere it is described as fever killer, as fat killer, as anti-cancer, like this. Now, till then, around more than 5,000 papers have been published that has established the curcumin as a both clinically, radiologically and histologically, and by the measurement of different blood biomarkers of these inflammatory materials, that it has got the anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-proliferative and anti-angiogenic activities. You know, inflammation and oxidative damage to the cells are the root cause of so many diseases, not only inflammation. Say for example, oxidative damage, subsequent inflammatory responses usually opens the pathway for malignancy. In neurodegenerative disorders, these are the basic causes. So, in Ayurvedic medicines, in a number of medical conditions, starting from your degenerative disease like what is called Alzheimer's and neurodegenerative disorders, from myocardial infarction to your hepatic disorders and your diabetes and related malignancies of the colorectal cancers, and in bone malignancies it has been used and found to have a very good result. Of course, they are not at a clinical level, they are at a subclinical trials. Now, this curcumin basically is a phytochemical compound obtained from the rhizome, that is modified stems of Curcuma longa, that is healthy plant. Roughly, turmeric powders contains only 5% of the active ingredient, that is curcumin. Now, next. Curcumin basically inhibits this nuclear factor kappa B inhibitor. What is the nuclear factor kappa B? It is a enzyme present normally in the cells. Its basic role is to prevent inflammation and production of the inflammatory enzymes that will degrade the cartilage and other things. Here it is. It has got the multiple sites of action. This inhibitor of kappa B kinase, when it is inactive, then it makes the nuclear factor kappa B inactive. Now, this nuclear factor kappa B, what it does, sorry, this is the second one, it prevents activation of nuclear factor kappa B by inhibiting the IB kinase. It prevents the translocation into nucleus, that is DNA to RNA, RNA to amino acids. These all mediators are basically proteins and amino acids. So here the normally present inflammatory mediators, what is the gene? Sorry, yeah. There are different sites at the genes for production of these enzymes. This de-encoding is prevented basically by this nuclear factor kappa B, and curcumin has been proved to be a good inhibitor of this kappa B, which has been shortened in your slide. Anyway, it prevents inflammatory mediators. So, evidences regarding role of curcumin in osteoarthritis and osteoarthritis is a comparative study of curcumin with diclofenac. It has been shown that curcumin is effective and safe in the patients with active RA. It is a study 2 with the rheumatoid. It has been shown to be effective and well tolerated in the treatment of RA. It's a real life experience with curcumin monotherapy. It has found to relieve pain and reduce the need for NSAIDs in osteoarthritis. It's a comparative study of curcumin with ibuprofen, having it goes in favor of both the things because of the synergistic activity that I will discuss later. The role of curcumin monotherapy: 100 patients osteoarthritis for 8 months, significant decrease in serum inflammatory biomarkers like interleukin 1b, 6, soluble CD400, soluble vascular cell adhesion molecules, and ESR. 50% decrease in OMX score. OMX is basically just ACR is American College of Orlando, that's McMaster University score, like this. In patients already with NSAIDs and analgesics, co-administration of curcumin was associated with decreased need for NSAIDs, marked reduction in the GI side effects, so it is effective and safe for the long-term use. Now, combination therapy. Curcumin, when given along with celecoxib, enhances action of celecoxib on COX-2, decreases the need for celecoxib. Curcumin, when given in combination with prednisolone, is additive anti-inflammatory effect through inhibition of inflammatory cytokines, significant reduction in joint swelling, reduction in side effects due to steroids. Curcumin, when administered with methotrexate, provides synergistic anti-arthritic action, may help to reduce the dose of methotrexate, reduce the risk of hepatotoxicity and hematological toxicities. Curcumin safety. Curcumin is generally recognized as safe by US FDA. No noticeable adverse events were observed with a dose up to 8 grams daily for 3 months. Unlike NSAIDs, free from adverse effect on kidneys, livers or cardiovascular system even after long-term use. Occasional patients may complain of mild and transient nausea or diarrhea. Unlike steroids, NSAIDs, DMRDs, curcumin is well tolerated. Introducing a novel formulation of curcumin. Now, conventional curcumin is basically a hydrophobic. So it is poorly soluble. So it is poorly absorbed from the GI tract. It has been found that minimum 3.6 gram has to be given orally to have a detectable plasma level. So very high amount of doses are usually required to have a clinical effects like 12 gram per day, and sometimes it is to 50 grams per day. So fewer studies have shown the positive results because of its poor GI tolerability. Now here is the question of bio-enhanced curcumin is SMEDDS technology. Actually, to increase the bioavailability or the solubility, you have to make it water soluble, that is hydrophilic. So any emulsifying agent, any addition of lipids will make it hydrophilic and more absorbable. Here it is self micro emulsifying drug delivery system has developed that leads to nanosized, that provides nanosized hydrophilic droplets of curcumin, improved absorption, better tissue penetration, and obviously increased bioavailability. So it is a human study, it ensures higher bioavailability. Enhanced curcumin doses, exact dose may vary from patient to patient depending upon the use of disease severity, degree of inflammation, patient response. Majority of patients with mild to moderate inflammation usually respond to 100 to 200 milligram per day. If required, one can increase the dose up to 400 milligram per day. Yes. It is possible your study, sir? 400 milligram per day? Yes. But there are other studies also. Especially one drug is extensively used in Belgium for last 3 years. It has been marketed and patented. They uses only 42 milligram of curcumin in each capsule, and that is so potent that it equals to 75 gram of curcumin, and that is equal to 1 kilogram of turmeric powder. One capsule OD or BD is the dose there. And not only that, their study has proved that it is not a possibly it is going to come out as a drug, because not as simple as a food product, because it helps in regeneration of the cartilage. Their preparation is possibly flexiphytol. So bio-enhanced curcumin summary. Well, inflammation basically is mediated by this nuclear factor kappa B, because it, when it's stimulated, it leads to the production of the protein degradation enzyme that leads to cartilage damage, and that is called translocation. It stimulates the genes that produces these enzymes. Now, decrease in the release of the inflammatory prostaglandin, cytokines, this and this. Monotherapy found to be effective, safe in the treatment of RA and osteoarthritis. Efficacy at par with NSAIDs but with better GI tolerability. It can be used along with NSAIDs. Steroids provide additive and synergistic action. Can be used along with methotrexate, help reduce the risk of hepatotoxicity. Unlike biologics, can be given orally, is safe and well tolerated. Suitable for combination therapy also. Bio-enhanced curcumin placed in therapy, an attractive option in the management of RA and OA, either as monotherapy or combination. Particularly useful option in following groups of patients intolerant to NSAIDs, steroids, DMRDs, compromised renal function, hepatic dysfunction, cardiovascular disorder, hypertension and chronic heart failure. Effective, safe, well tolerated. Let us make life pain-free life. Well, but in short, in osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis are commonly encountered, obviously encountered in our day-to-day practice. patient comes with different stages with variable degrees of deformities and limitation of functions. Now, all the drugs, here we have mentioned only the drugs that is at the level of inflammation. But when it goes beyond that, that is degeneration of the cartilage that leads to structural and mechanical failure of the joints, there is no basically drugs. In osteoarthritis, some of the food ingredients as food supplement like your this collagenase and some flavonoids are used extensively, but with variable degrees of result. In some patient, cartilage transplant has also been tried. In some cases, this what is called anyway, but it ultimately ends in replacement whenever possible. In rheumatoid, you know, it has got a variable degrees of course, and these inflammatory drugs up to some level they helps, but once the joint is degenerated and damaged, there is no other options. But this curcumin is basically utilized as an anti-inflammatory drug, but in late stages, it is not, definitely has got no role. That's all. Thank you.